Well, that's interesting. Hello, I'm Wanderer001, and this is my review of the SwitchBot bot smart switch button pusher. Just like you saw, has a little arm that came out the front there. What this is actually a smart home device that is geared towards those that, one, don't necessarily want to deal with a smart plug or a smart outlet or a smart switch. Two, might be in a situation where they cannot alter or change their surroundings. Maybe you're renting or living in a dorm. The SwitchBot is also good for specific appliances that don't necessarily take well to being turned on and off at the power source, but rather require a button push of some sort to activate. Little unassuming box could be your gateway device into the smart home. It is remarkably small, which the close-up that I have does not demonstrate. It is very small, a little chunky though, but all in all, easily placed at 1.6 inches by 1.4 inches by just shy of 1 inch. Because this is a smart home device, that does mean that there is a bit of setup that has to happen in order to use this. And I will admit, the setup for this was remarkably quick and easy to do. Let me show you. This will be the setup process for the SwitchBot bot. A little redundant name, but that's what it is. First things first, you're going to open up your user manual and you're going to download the SwitchBot app from either the Apple or Google Play Store. Once you do that for the first time, it's going to show you a couple of screens, getting you acquainted with the app. Then you're brought to allow SwitchBot to access your location. You're going to have to allow in order to actually utilize the SwitchBot. So what I'm going to do is say, while using the app only, and then it can show you bots that are nearby. Now notice I did not actually set up a SwitchBot account, so I'm going to see if it'll let me actually attach this SwitchBot to this without actually having to create an account first. So we're going to come up to the plus sign and it's going to make us do an account. Okay, now that we have successfully created our account very quickly off camera, we can come up to the plus sign and then it's going to show us what do we want to add. Down here we can see there is the SwitchBot bot, so we're going to select that. So it says to tap the bot to turn it on and off, but we still have this pull tab for the battery. So we're gonna yank this out first and select next. There we go, had to cycle back after pulling the tab out. So that is what we want. We tap on that, tapped on this icon to see, and you see it moving there, and we can just select next. We're gonna leave it at bot DA as the name, but we can also have location information, which I will leave at default room. I can change that later, I'm sure. And then, okay. So that was actually a relatively quick and easy setup process for the SwitchBot. Nice and simple. The SwitchBot itself operates on Bluetooth, which is great because it can talk directly to your phone. Other things that come with the little SwitchBot here are a secondary 3M backplate for the back of it. Also, 2 hook and loop attachments for use with a specific type of light switch as displayed here. Now, if you're like me and you have a house that has the classic style light switches, something like this might not work out for you. However, if you have other things in your home, like a washing machine or an air conditioner, as seen over there in the corner, that refuses to connect to Wi-Fi and you want to be able to turn it on and off with the push of a button on your smartphone, something like this would come in handy. Cue SwitchBot button pushing montage. There we go. Now, just because you saw there that it pushed things on and off does not mean that is the only thing this can do. Well, Technically, yes, it is the only thing that it can do. However, there is much more with scheduling and so forth that you can do with the SwitchBot here, and that all is accessible through the application. So let's take a look at the application for the SwitchBot bot. This will be the app for the SwitchBot bot. Keep in mind, you can see my SwitchBot bot right there, but this is the overall SwitchBot app. But what we're going to be talking about in particular is for the bot, the mini bot. Here you can see all of my devices listed. It is connected via Bluetooth because it's right over there off camera. If we were setting something up, we can come here to bots nearby. It's not detecting anything yet because, well, I've already attached my bot. If you were on that page and wanted to attach a bot, you can simply press the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner to start the adding of a bot process. And over here you have your bell icon for notifications for system, device, and scenes. So if anything happened to have happened, it will let you know. You can also delete any of the notifications that you see here. Or selecting the book icon, simply select and then mark all notifications as read, yes or no. We're going to come back to our main page because, well, we want to concentrate on the bot here. 3 dots right here, selecting this will allow you to sort your devices and manage locations. So if you have multiple locations and multiple devices, you can arrange all of that right here. You can see I am home because, well, I only have 1 location and 1 bot. Simply selecting the bot, you'll see there's a circle that went around. That is how you actuate your bot. If you select in the white space there, that will bring you into the settings for this particular bot. So right now I left it as its default name of BotDA. Selecting this icon here will allow you to edit the name, edit its location, and then edit the room. So if you have lots of these bots around, you can kind of create groups and areas that make it easier to distinguish them from each other. 3 dots in the upper right hand corner will show you the MAC address for your particular bot. We're not going to touch that right now. Password mode here is considered an advanced option. That's if you wanted to make it so that the SwitchBot itself required a password to actually utilize it instead of just using the app. I would not recommend doing that if you're creating an IoT network. That's nice that it's there, but kind of asking for trouble in my opinion. Here we have a schedule, which will allow you to create a schedule. Notice I have nothing right here. I have it syncing to my clock. So there we go, I synced the clock. If I come down to the lower right hand corner, I can select a specific time. And here you can see it's got your military time on the inside and then AM outside. So we're gonna set that for 6:15 AM. And then you're going to say, take off days that you don't want it to do, right there. And then what is the action? So it's going to press because, well, this is only one thing, it's a press. So we could set that for 6:15 AM, it will press, and then we can select save, and then every day at 6:15 AM on those dates, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, it will press. You could set up lots of different schedules this way. You can also turn off your schedule, and we're gonna save that. And then for whatever reason, if you wanted to delete, simply select, and then there is a trash can right there. You can select your trash can, and now you don't have any schedule set up. We're going to save because we did make a change. We're going to come down to the next, which is our cloud services. Right here, you'll notice that I have no cloud services turned on because in order to use any of these cloud services, most of these voice commands or IFTTT, you actually need the SwitchBot hub. So if you just bought the SwitchBot, you can't use any of this. So keep that in mind. Can't use Google Assistant, can't use Amazon Assistant without a hub. So this area is actually going to be pretty useful for you if you just bought the SwitchBot itself. Pair with a remote, well, we can click in here. If you have a SwitchBot remote, you can pair it to your SwitchBot right here. Since I just have the bot, can't really do that, but you can operate the SwitchBot via a SwitchBot remote and then pair it in this location. Kind of nice. You have your logs, so this will tell you exactly what has happened, successfully executed what, in this case a press, because that's all it can do, and then where it came from. So if you were using your Google Assistant or your Amazon Echo Assistant or the remote, you would notice this, instead of saying app control, would say something different. You can swipe to see more and it will load more things. And apparently I did it too fast, and that was our logs area. NFC will allow you to set up a SwitchBot tag that has NFC and pair it to a device using your phone, so that if you take your phone and swipe it over this NFC tag, that it will perform a function. In the case of the SwitchBot, it will actuate the push. So this is another extra that you can get with your SwitchBot, but it's kind of nice that you can utilize NFC tags instead of having to have a remote, but it is, again, an extra peripheral that you will need to purchase for the SwitchBot. So it's almost like you're buying into the ecosystem right away. Firmware and battery, simply selecting this will show you, one, the firmware for the device that you are currently attached to, and the battery levels. Here you can see battery levels are perfectly fine, and I have my firmware version right there. And then you can select delete, which will delete the SwitchBot from your SwitchBot app. We're gonna come back to the main page because that was really everything that you could do for the SwitchBot bot itself, because it really only actuates on and off. We were currently on the home page, but you have other areas on here just like you have with a lot of these other applications. You have scenes, which again, not so much for the SwitchBot, but if we select create a scene, what will happen? So you can say if all conditions are met, when any of these conditions are met, and then you can tell it what to do. So manual execution, I can delete that. Same thing down here, notification, and we're gonna come back because we really don't have any scenes that we need to set up with this. With the SwitchBot in particular, I would suggest mostly using the scheduler. This is a little more advanced, but you can select what days, times, all that fun stuff right here, and whether it sends you a notification. You have your shopping area, which again is going to be all the other things from SwitchBot that you can actually get. They are competitively priced to a lot of the other lower end price hardware manufacturers, we'll say. And then last but not least is your profile. You can give your SwitchBot profile a name. You can see any notifications that have come through in a singular area. You've got your preferences here, so language, units, I never bothered changing that, but we're gonna come down and turn that to Fahrenheit. You have notifications. Again, this is another area where you can get to your notifications. So what do you want? Do you want location warning? Do you want Bluetooth status reminder, scenes, etc.? Or you have do not disturb? All of that can be changed in the notifications area. And then here is our app version. Coming back, we have FAQs. So these are FAQs that are from SwitchBot itself. As you can see, it brings you right to their webpage. So not integrated directly into the application, but rather pushing you out to their website, which still isn't bad. I'm glad that that's in there. You've got your legal information and then firmware recovery. So if for whatever reason the firmware bricks your device, which it shouldn't, but if that happens, you can revert to a previous firmware version, which is a nice touch that that's there. And then we're gonna come back to home because that was everything that you can do for the SwitchBot bot in the SwitchBot app. So as you saw, it's actually a fairly robust app for something that just seems so unassuming. What I will state is I'm a little disappointed that the SwitchBot here requires an additional hub in order to be used with Alexa and Google Home, but you get what you pay for. And with that being said, what the price is for this is reasonably inexpensive for a smart home device. Depending on if you get this on sale or not, you could pick this up anywhere from $30 to $25. Now, I have seen plenty of people on the Amazon reviews where they have several SwitchBots on different portions of their washing machine to, one, turn it on, then start it, or coffee machine where it's start with turn on coffee machine, select this option and timer. You can do a lot with this type of unique robot. For me, I was originally planning on getting it for an attic fan that I have, setting a thermostat upstairs, using if this then that, to then, when it gets too hot, turn the SwitchBot to turn on my attic fan and ventilate the heat. Only problem is, if this then that requires the hub, and I have the classic old style attic fan switch. I will have to upgrade it to the new flick style, as you saw in my basement there, which isn't terrible to do, but it is an additional step that I didn't think I would have to take with this. But that doesn't mean this is a bad device. It's actually a gateway device, in my opinion. If you're looking to get into smart home automation in any way, shape, or form, this could be a good first step for you to see if it's actually something that you want to delve into, because over there in the corner, I've done a lot of home automation stuff, and while I picked this up a little later on in my experiences, this could be the first one for you. And again, at that price point and the fact that it operates over Bluetooth and you can make things smart that require a push button to turn on instead of a power activation to turn on, something like this is actually pretty ingenious. So if any of those things sound interesting to you, I would recommend checking out the SwitchBot bot. I know it's a redundant name, but SwitchBot, the company, bot is this little thing that pushes things on and off. And that arm there is surprisingly sturdy for some of the tests that I was running with it. With that being said, I have been Wanderer001. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the area below. And as always, thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, consider giving it a like, as that will help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here, you can always help fuel the next review by buying me a coffee, link in the description below. Last but not least, if you want to be notified when I upload a new video, you know what to do.